shalom, my friends, shalom, my enemies. This is your old pal, Rabbi Sol Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And you know how much I love the theater. And if you love the New York theater, you will have seen this person to my left, might actually be to your right. I don't know how these zoomy things work. Or both. She is a multifaceted actress who can actually move both on and off stage and on and off camera. You have seen her in the Broadway shows Proof and Sweat. In fact, she was Tony nominated for both of those performances. She also won, she won a Helen Hayes Award for doing The Rainmaker at Arena Stage over in Washington, D.C. She was on Broadway in How I Learned to Drive, which was the Broadway revival of the off-Broadway original How I Learned to Drive, which she was also in. And she just did, a couple of months ago, Scene Partners off-Broadway with Diane Wiest. Now she's in a whole different play with a woman named Nancy McCain. You may remember her from The Facts of Life. Charlotte Ray was actually on this program before she was dead. We tend not to interview her.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, it's a very quiet interview. We tried it once or twice, and it just, very flat. But
Flat.
Nothing flat and boring about this wonderful lady here. Her name is Johanna Day. She's in Pen Pals off-Broadway, and we are pals with her right now in the neighborhood. Shalom! Johanna, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Thank God, thank God. So how's the play going? It opens when?
It opened on Wednesday night, this last Wednesday night.
Mazel McClick. So is it frozen, or does every night you do something a little different, or in terms of...
the language is frozen, but actually the stage manager said to me the Wednesday night, she was like, "It's fascinating watching you. You know, you're doing all these different things every night." And I said, "Well, that's because I'm still rehearsing."
Oh. Well, that's, people don't know. They think off-Broadway shows, they rehearse for months and they get together. They do. I mean, what'd you get, 3 weeks before, boom, you're on? Yeah. No, what?
No.
What'd you get?
About 6 days.
No.
Yeah.
How did it come together so quickly?
Well, they had done a production of it at Jersey Rep, and so they had a little time with it. And it did change with when I came in a little bit. Just movement and sound and things like that. And of course, I'm a different human being than the other wonderful actress. And so, yeah, we have the letters there in front of us that we're reading, our correspondence.
Well, it's an epistolary show, so you don't have to memorize. You're not...
No, I mean, you don't have to, but it's, we have to look up and look out as if we're talking to our pen pal. So it's interesting because
you have to have it up here too.
Yeah, you gotta know.
I should have asked in the first place, what is the show? What is the story of this by letters show? What is the synopsis?
Well, it came about and was created by and written by Michael Griffo, who his mom for about 50 years had a pen pal in England, and they were in she was in New Jersey. And when he started to create it, he realized he didn't want to use the real letters of his mom's because of privacy reasons. And so sorry, I'm falling apart.
Aren't we all? Yeah.
Yep. And so the letters are made up, but there's some truths in there back and forth. So it's just about this friendship that starts in about what's happening with my hair. Anyway.
What happened to my hair? You should not complain about hair. Tell me about this. Okay.
And it starts like in 1956. They're 14 years old, and they're assigned pen pals, and it's just this. They're just two regular women, but over 50 years, so many things happened to us in that time. Marriage, children, death, disease, love, young love, old love, first kisses, and they become very, very, very best friends. And it's their adoration and love for each other is just so beautiful. And the play is they're really funny and also incredibly emotional parts, that people so it just everyone can somehow, even though there's younger people that, well, who writes letters these days anyway.
Um,
um
well, I have a series of tweets that are very moving.
yes, exactly, right. um and but we've heard from young people that have seen the show and are just like, oh, I want to write letters, I want to write letters. And people that there's people just in their 30s that had pen pals, and there's people in their 50s and 70s that remember very well having pen pals. And it's just, I think it's such a beautiful, relatable show that um you know isn't political, and I think it's something that's just very, very joyous right now.
Now, speaking of family and things like that, I know that was a terrible segue, but you grew up with a large family. Are you like Irish Catholic, and that's why they had eight of you or whatever, nine of you?
I'm the youngest of nine, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What was it
Catholic.
like? I mean, I'm just. Did you get the hand-me-downs of everybody? Did you ever get a new anything?
um yes, eventually, once those guys got out of the house.
Okay, but it was a happy, albeit chaotic home.
Yes, my mom had a sign in the kitchen that said misery is optional.
At least she didn't have it forbidden. And then
Right.
she made it. You could if you wanted to, but you could opt out. This
Right.
yeah.
Well, and one thing about hand-me-downs, which was kind of fun for a while, or funny, was my sisters that are right above me, they're 6 years older, they're twins. So I was getting two of,
Oh yeah, cool.
yeah, two outfits, two, Easter dresses, blah, blah, blah. And then, my mom didn't make them dress the same, past, I don't think, like 3 or 4.
Sure. And hey, I come from a culture where we all dress exactly alike. It's like, can I have your white shirt? Yeah, let me have your white shirt. All right, you're buying this good.
I know.
Black coat. Oh, I could use a black coat. And then
Yeah, I like it. It's like a uniform.
basically. So, not to be sad or anything like that, but did you lose one of your siblings?
Yes, my oldest brother Stephen, and then the next born, our oldest sister, Margaret, and I play Margaret in this play. Stephen died of dementia, and Margie died of Alzheimer's.
Oh my God. Horrible question. Are you worried, therefore, that in the family?
Well, we talk about it a lot, but it's weird because, like my niece, Margie's daughter, Kate, she and I were thinking, when my dad was in the service, like they lived in, Camp Lejeune, and I know a lot of these things have been reported from them but as my other brother said, he goes, they just picked this sort of time span where you could, maybe claim that might have affected your family. But, my father was not, affected by Alzheimer's or dementia, and my mother wasn't. I think, how, like, I mean, I've been doing this for years, walk into a room, don't know why, I have to go back into the other room and retrace my steps. I mean, I've been doing that for years. So,
Everybody, yeah.
I know.
Going in the synagogue. I was like, where the hell? Where's aisle 15? I need grease for the. Oh, wait, oops. It happens to be constant.
I know. And of course, because that's happened in our family, we all are a little bit extra like, uh-oh. But, they don't know enough about these diseases, and they're trying to, and they're making some progress with some experimental drugs and stuff. I've even thought of, like, being a guinea pig for some of them before, but I don't feel, I mean, listen, well, it's crazy because both my brother and sister use their minds a lot, and it helps to I think to be an actor and to have to memorize things all the time.
Well, that was my next question. Aside from mentioning coincidentally that I call my synagogue Camp La Jew, so oh, that's a great laugh. That's a laugh, ladies and gentlemen. Good. No, Mary Louise Parker says that she can make you laugh. You make her laugh like nobody else. So it's
We do. We've had some of the best times in theater. We became very close because we had met before, but when we first did How I Learned to Drive, it was at the Vineyard Theater, and there were three women in it. Carrie O'Malley was the original younger Greek chorus member, and she never wanted to nap, in between shows. But Mary Louise and I really needed to, and we had a cot, about this big, so we both laid on it, feet to face, and we, became very close because we were both so determined to take a nap.
no, I get it. But actually, the question I was going to ask was about memorizing lines. Were you always good at it, and you're as good? Is it easier, harder? As not that you're old, but as
I am.
the year,
yeah. You know what? With it really, really depends on the play. It really does. And as time goes on, people are like, what's your technique with that? I mean, I have one thing that I sort of always do, but not can't use this play as an example, but excuse me.
So gesund.
Thank you. But back in the day, back in the olden times,
1983. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I was very comfortable. I like to keep the script in my hand for a long time during rehearsals because I connect it with where I'm going, what I'm doing, what emotional thing is happening. But, I trick myself into studying, like in the very beginning, I'll have a show on that I've seen a million times and I'll have my script there. It's almost like tricking yourself into exercising. Like I'll sit down on the floor and go, I'm just going to stretch my leg. And then you end up doing a whole lot more.
All right. So do you do it out loud? Do you have a scene partner? Is there a person that you normally,
No, I live alone. So, believe me, I've, tricked friends into running lines with me, over the phone. And if they come to visit, they don't know what they're in for. But
I'm sure they enjoy it. It's a little piece of like being in a scene themselves. Or no, they don't.
Yeah, it's true. And if I go home to visit, I'll get, ask family members or my brother-in-law to run lines. Or like when I have a self-tapes, which I hate.
Are auditions? Let's flip the thing on this. What are auditions like now? Because during 2020, 2021, it was sort of like tape yourself, do this, boom, boom, boom. Is it back to equity calls, or your agent just sends you and you already have the job before you even audition? What is it like now?
Well, that happens with me with theater a lot, but 2021, I mean, our business was completely shut down except for a little bit of film and television. But yeah, I didn't work for 2 straight years. And now I think what has happened, I mean, there are some people that love doing the self-tapes. I don't. I usually ask if it's going to be a self-tape. I haven't been in an in-person audition in 4 years. So I usually ask for at least a Zoom audition. And that way you can ask, come in with questions and you can get notes and then do another take. And at least you have this human contact, albeit weird.
Yeah, no, I mean, what we're doing now is human. It would be weird if you were just talking to a wall right now. Weird.
Yeah. And I personally, you don't get a lot of time, to work on these. Wait, let me interrupt myself. Yes, if I refuse to do theater self-tape because it's a totally different medium. It's not, I've heard tales that, sometimes people are these actors are really good at self tapes and they for theater, and then they get them on stage and they don't know how to be a stage actor.
Yeah, they
Um,
talk like this because they're used to talking to a microphone and they have no idea that you have to project to the fifth row, Yeah.
because it's a whole body thing, It's like not just vocally, but so it's been for me, I'm just gonna be honest. I really, really dislike self-tapes. I don't think I've gotten hired off of one of them.
It could be your attitude. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Let me ask you this. The question I'm sure you've been asked 4 million times. When did you realize you wanted to be an actress? And when did you realize that, oh, not only am I acting as like a hobby or a thing, but this is really going to be my full-time, full-length, forever career?
Well, weirdly, I grew up in this, in the woods basically. And for some reason, and my family remembers, like at like 3 years old, for no reason whatsoever, I was like, I'm gonna be an actress. And
Yeah.
then I grew up in this tiny little town in Virginia, and we didn't even have a drama department or anything. We did like, a talent show. Well, we would do like in high school, like one play a year, but it was during track season and I was a runner, so I didn't usually do it, but talent shows, stuff like that. And then
You should have done the runner stumbles. It would have been a perfect conflict.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I had this like crappy boyfriend in high school, and I was like, oh my God, I'm never gonna, leave this town. Of course, now I love going home because it's beauty. It's nothing but beautiful Virginia. But I had gotten a letter from Student Search Service Project, and I filled out. And so this school, American Academy of Dramatic Arts, sent me an application, and I was like 16 or 17, and I just set it down like in a room, and then finally broke up with that boyfriend. And one day I just said, Mom, I want to apply to this school in New York. And because there's one in New York and one in Los Angeles. And interestingly, my mom and dad had gotten divorced, and he was out in Utah, and he was running a small business administrator. He was a small business administrator. And he actually got to meet with Robert Redford when he was starting Sundance.
Okay.
And he asked him, my daughter wants to go to this acting school and blah, blah, blah. What would you recommend, New York or Los Angeles? And Mr. Redford said New York if she really wants to learn to act. And, I had no experience, and my mom drove me up. No, we flew up. Do you remember People's Express?
Oh my God, yes. I haven't heard that in, oh my, yeah. Not to age you, but yes, I remember. It's a while.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, first of all, my friends and I could go home all the time, and from New York for $19, and you paid on the plane.
Genius.
And then it went up to 29, and then it went up to 39, so no more. But anyway, my mom and I flew up for one day, and I auditioned with two pieces that I had no business auditioning for. I knew nothing about it, but it wasn't the hardest school to get into, but it was a hard school to stay in, like to be invited back for the second year, and then the production company. And so once that started, I got out of school, and I was like, uh-oh, I have to make a living. And so nightclubs, bars, restaurants, and then one day I kind of woke up and was like, what am I here in New York for? So I joined these like nomad theater companies and did black box theater, and got into Circle Rep Lab when that existed.
Oh.
And
I'm going to stop you right there. Didn't Langford Wilson take a swing at you?
How do you know all these things?
I not only read the Torah, I read the alternate Torah that has stories like this in it.
Sweet
rom-coms.
Lanford. It was unfortunate, but yeah, we were at the Cape Cod Theater Project and I was working on one of his plays and he was just, and he eventually quit drinking and stuff, but he was just, we had all gone swimming and one of the friends had left their computer or something in one of these hosts' house and anyway, he came out and he was kind of saddling up to my friend John and I was like, back off, Lanford, back off. And he like stumbly like tried to do that. And he, I got home and he called me immediately and was just horrified and apologized profusely. And but it's a good story.
Oh, it's a great story. It's a story which is, I never would think of him as being like an angry, violent drunk. But I
I
guess
don't know if he was. It was just that I don't think so. He had a lot to say about it. And he was like, I normally, I don't drive. So when I'm home, I never have, I only have a certain amount of booze at home. But where he was staying at the time, he had access and, he overdid it.
do you have a nice story about, beside him apologizing, like a fun story about Langford and the other people at Circle Rep? Arthur Coppett, or maybe some of the other people who were.
Oh, well, this was at Cape Cod Theater Project, but Circle Rep was wonderful. And I got we did a workshop. Well, we did the full play, but in the lab of a play called Three Postcards by Craig Lucas.
Right, yeah.
And it was a musical with only like 5 songs in it. And then they moved us to the main stage. So it was my first off-Broadway professional job.
And then you
And
were in Blue Window, which is a really good play.
oh, I
My
did
friend
that
Dave,
too.
who saw that, it is a wonderful play.
I love that play. That's such a beautiful play. I'm so lucky to have done those. And so, we're young, and everyone's like, you guys are all going to get a TV series after this. Well, I was just like, cut to, I'm back at the restaurant I was working at, for many years.
How did that? I mean, was there a point? Did you ever do? Obviously, you didn't make one of these deals that actors or actresses make. It's like, well, if I'm not in a series by age 30, you know what? Age 35. That's it. 30, 39. If I don't get the, etc. You never.
Well, I try to, when I talk or teach to young people, I'm like, I didn't do my first professional play until I was 28 or 29. So I'd done a lot of plays, but not, under any union, Here's the problem now is it's pretty slow and hopefully 2025 will pick up. But I have no other skill sets now. I mean, like, well, can you computer No, no. I mean, doing this is so complicated for me. Like, so there's always teaching, but
Well, there's OnlyFans. I have a page there. I owe them money. It doesn't.
well, and that's the thing. I'm a big fighter for theater actors getting paid more. I mean, I've got a problem. I don't mind saying this either, but I have a problem with I affectionately call there's about 4 of them in the city, the Broadway theaters that are not for profit theaters that are allowed to do Broadway shows and charge Broadway ticket prices and eligible for the Tonys, but they don't pay the actors squat.
I mean, literally zero, or is it like $200 a week kind of?
No. I mean, it's Broadway, right? So it's not a commercial run. So you're getting about, and they call it favored nations, meaning everyone gets the same paycheck, but you get about $1,700 a week.
All right.
Before taxes, before 20% from manager and agents off the top, before, when, and also another thing, this is in general, but so it's not just the not-for-profits, but, I don't know who I'm talking about, but we used to be able to have a quote right, in theater. Like, say I got paid $3,000 a week, my last Broadway show. I should be able to get that and more, but they don't honor that anymore. And they used to give you a bump in pay if you got a Tony nomination. And a producer one time said, but you don't, was like, well, I'm expecting you to win it, then maybe you'll get a bump. Like,
Wow. Wow. Okay.
now I just sound like a bitch.
No, no, well, no, you know what I would do for $3,000? I'd convert. I'd become a Muslim for $3,000 a week. Are you kidding me? I'd give up pork. I don't know if I could give up pork. 4,000.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
You don't end up with that a week, obviously. It's that would be about 1,700 maybe,
Right,
which would be great right now.
Oh, well, right. Well, you're working off Broadway. We should remind people that you're in a show called Pen Pals, which is at the theater at St. Clement's. Is that on 46th? Where's that?
46 between 9th and 10th.
Restaurant Row, or right?
Yeah.
Don't tell Mama and all that. Yeah, please.
No, I make a joke, but some of my friends came to opening, and I said to someone, I was like, even my talented, cynical, jaded, dear friends loved Pen Pals. They weren't like, this is corny or this is about, Pen Pals. And they just are crazy about it and sending people to come see it all the time now.
We're sending people to come see it too. But we have a couple more minutes, I hope, with Johanna Day here. I know you have to run in, fairly shortly. I know you've got business to attend to, but there's so much more we want to talk to you about. For example, can you tell the story of Patty's Clam House? I'm just working there.
So that was one of my many jobs. Oh, I got some other good jobs too. I worked for a publishing company that published, sort of country accents, Swimmer USA, and also porn.
Oh, well, hey, why not?
Magazines.
Yeah.
But Patty's Clam House,
they could call the porn magazine Patty's Clam House too. It would have fit, but I'm sorry.
Well, there was it was a very long restaurant, and so all the lobsters were up in front in a tank, and the people would pick what one they wanted, and they scared me to death. And so what you're supposed to do is like walk by, show them their lobster, walk by and then go
live and moving the lobster.
Well, yeah, the rubber bands were on there sometimes. So basically, I would run full speed and go like, "Here it is," and just keep going.
Oh my God! Well, how long did you do that? Like 2 months or so? How long were you in that gig?
I really don't remember, but not very long because I didn't have enough money to get the right clothes to wear, and so I think I was fired.
Wait, you had to wear like fish protected.
No, it was just a simple, I forget what it was, but I was pretty miserable. I also worked at a Long Island Grab House as a singing waitress.
What now? Is that fun or just horrible?
Horrible.
Okay.
Well, because you're up there, they're like, some people are saying like, you got to get up and sing a song. And I had like a repertoire of like 3. And,
okay, come on, which songs, you gotta tell us, what songs were you singing?
Well, nothing really classic. Usually like a blues song or a Patsy Cline song or something like that.
All right.
But you'd be up there and your customers would be like with their coffee going like,
yeah, right.
Would you please come and wait on me?
The skilled actresses who rehearsed, they could pour. While this is
While up on stage though.
Oh yeah, well, they can pour forward. They can sort of splash, and you aim. It takes some time, but
right.
Now, let me also ask, but while we still have a moment or 2 or 3 of Johanna Day. So we talked about Langford Wilson. We talked about some of the other people. What about being in a new play by Edward Albee when he was still alive? So I assume he was around. Do you have any stories? Yeah, please.
So we first did it at Hartford Stage, and he was around, obviously the whole time because the part I played, I was a he'd always thought of Peter's wife. He always had that character in his head. So when he wrote Peter and Jerry, which I think the name changed, I got the part of Anne, Peter's wife. So he made a first act to Zoo Story. And I went in and auditioned for it, and I thought the audition went really horribly. And I was like, that's fine. That's in my head. I was like, that's fine. That's fine. I have another job to do or something. And then they called me back. And then Pam McKinnon, the wonderful director Pam McKinnon, said that after I left the room, I don't know if this was my first audition or second, but he leaned over to her and goes, "What a difference a day makes."
Nice.
One of our first run throughs, we were all just so nervous. And then we did it again at second stage, but 4 years later. And then we did a run through in the rehearsal room, and we're all like waiting in the hallway, just like on a break. And he comes out and he goes, "That's a pretty good play."
Nice. Yeah, it's what because you're nervous, you don't know, and you have the playwright whom you respect enormously because of the history, and he's like, did that make you all go like, ah?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, and we thought we were going to do it right away in the city, like the next year, but I think for some reason there were too many Edward Albee plays going on at the time, and so that was a big disappointment. But I got to stay in the play when we did it for 4 years later. I had it easy. I think he was harder on the men a little bit, but I loved him so very much, and we held hands a lot. And he came to a play I did at the Cherry Lane. It was probably the last time I saw him, and we walked to the subway together, and he said, "I'm writing a play, and I have a part in there for you."
And then
he up and died on me.
How do you get over the disappointment? I mean, like, you're in a limited run now through December 22nd. Are you confident between your agent and the stuff that you do on TV and that you can support yourself for the rest, like barring another pandemic, that you make enough money that you can afford how to live and live well, decently?
I am not confident about that right now. Since the pandemic, it's really a lot of things have changed. And, I think the studios for film and television studios are being sold. Things are in the, in interims and, the agents and my manager and agents think that it's going to pick up. I mean, this age white woman, I don't know how needed I am these days, but
this age white man, my synagogue won't even let me in half the time. Go right home. But let's end on something happier, because I know you have to run. But I mentioned also Blue Window. There's this play that you love. Now, you were in there with an off-Broadway actor too, John Benjamin Hickey, veteran actor. Please,
J. Smith Cameron, Allison Janney, Ellen McLaughlin, John Hickey.
But he did something to you, apparently, in that play frequently. That, come on, I'm Jewish. You have to share the story.
Well, my character, ironically, was a very, very quiet girlfriend of one of the characters. David Warshawski's played my boyfriend, and also interestingly, my character sings a song in the middle of it while everyone freezes. But
yeah.
Right. I was kind of stuck on this couch. Wasn't wandering about, much. And he liked to go by and leave a little silent but deadly for me when I had no option to move.
How could he time it? How would he manage every single? Did he eat right before going off on stage?
No, I don't know. It wasn't all the time, but we had so much fun doing that play. It was really great. Yeah.
Well, it has been really, really great talking with Johanna Day. Please go to Theater at St. Clements and get your tickets.
Come see it. It's so great.
Pen Pals by Griffo was his name.
Michael Griffo and Nancy McKeon and Johanna Day.
Johanna Day. Who directed it? What's the name of the directress?
Oh, Suzanne. Oh, don't. Oh God, I'm gonna kill myself.
So I should have looked it up. I didn't mean to put you in a thing. I'm just.
Take that out. Suzanne, she's wonderful. I love her.
Well, we love you, Johanna Day, and we wish you much success with Pen Pals. Are you in anything after that? Should we look for you in something soon?
I don't have anything at the moment, but I am going to come back and do it with Nancy for a week in February again.
Oh, but see it now, everybody, and then you'll want to see it again in February.
And there's all these other amazing actresses coming in and going to be rotating doing it also.
Oh, do they need a rabbi? Do they?
They might. The next ones are the next group up is the wonderful Sharon Lawrence and the wonderful Kathy Curtin.
Oh, wonderful! But you know what? You see her, and then you see Johanna Day, and then see them and compare. Johanna Day will be better, I promise.
Just silently judge.
But not
right,
thank
you.
Thank you so much, and shalom to you.
Shalom.